So it's been a really long time since I filmed. I'm gonna make this a shorter video, most likely. Today I am in my home and I'm trying to make it so that's more sustainable for me, filming in my home. Before I was using different spaces in my family's home, and it's just not sustainable in the long run because it just takes so many steps to drive over, and I don't know. Today I have a few different things in the background. So a Buddha figurine. I'm actually kind of blanking. Where's my religion book? Is this like the actual what are the different kinds of Buddha statues? I feel like this hair's being difficult. It's a Buddha figurine, right? So the Buddha figurine is going here. I should show it closer. I really love this. I love this Buddha figurine because it's so like minimalist, but also has the gold accents. And then there's a candle over here. I don't know if you can tell that it's lit or whatever. And I have my tea. Of course, like I've said before in some videos, I want to try to make a series of sorts from kind of like my new setup and just like start a new chapter of something. And really, I just want to talk about religion and spirituality. I have just feels like endless notes in my phone that I've been writing for a long time that I thought I was going to make a second book out of, and I still want to, but I just have a really busy life right now. Just going to wait a little longer, I guess, for that one. And I still want to move forward with like selling my screenplay, my movie screenplay. So yeah. All right. I really hope this angle is like not too distracting, that it's not like weird or anything. It's like so interesting when you are like creating a new setup because there's like this kind of list. Like I feel like the list even changes like what is most important when you're creating like a film setup. So I'm gonna pull up the Wikipedia page on karma. Okay, different schools derive different definitions for the concept from ancient Indian texts. Their definition is some combination of 1, causality that may be ethical or non-ethical, 2, ethicization. Well, I'm like learning new words here. In other words, good or bad actions have consequences. And 3, rebirth. I think that what like the modern day perception of karma definitely recognizes the idea of consequences, and then sort of like this ethical dilemma that can lead to such consequences. And actually, I think I talk about it in my book, and I want to write more on karma. The more of the realizations I get about it, it's just like so messed up sometimes, like this concept of karma. I believe I referenced this before in another video. And this is where, as an author, I do have regrets. I truly think that there's beauty in owning up to having regrets. And I think it's just like a natural part of life, and the more someone resists, like the more someone like denies the fact that they have regrets, I think there can be a certain tension that can kind of like add up, so to say. I think it's really important to like stop after each kind of chapter of life and kind of talk to oneself like you have a relationship with yourself, and you're saying to yourself, what regrets I think it's important to stop and ask oneself what regrets we might have from our past. And then, of course, you can be really happy with just that it all happened, and like you can, yeah, like it's natural to also feel relief, like that's in the past. I don't really have to think about the regrets like all the time, but I do think that inevitably there are going to be some regrets, and it's just part of life, and it's important to accept whatever regret there may be in the soul. So here's what I kind of regret here. I say karma truly does exist, and manifestation exists as well. Remember to stay true to yourself, to your true inner child, to the kindness and love within yourself. Only then will you be able to stay on a path of good karma. It says those on bad paths will try to visualize your demise, because bad people simply suffer when they see good people succeeding. Accepting that you are doing better than them would mean they were wrong all along, and that manipulation, harming people, and crime were never the real answers like they originally thought. In order to accept the truth of you being on the better path, they would have to mourn the parts of their life where they were acting immorally. Here's something I want to promote that might be considered controversial. Good people need to match the energy of bad people more. I do not mean also manipulating, harming, and committing crime. I mean feeling that equality of passion and rage, yet channeling it into a stance on goodness. For example, this could look like praying to one's angels and spirit to bring justice to a situation. Okay, actually that didn't sound so bad. Okay, I'm just going to keep reading. The issue with the concept of manifestation and the law of attraction. Proclaiming to the world that people can change their reality by simply thinking better things can be very unjust to those who are in situations that are out of their control. Situations such as poverty or being victim to crime. If the world was more aimed towards love, I truly believe that people in these situations would be given the resources to become more safe, feeling grounded, and therefore able to elevate however they feel they want to, as long as it's aimed towards love. Okay, so I think what I do here is pretty good, but there's like a lot of like missing answers, and I imply a lot that there is sort of like this mysterious punishment for being on a bad path, so to say. And of course, bad path is like very vague, because you know, like that could include so many thousands, millions of different kinds of situations. So that is something I do want to write about more and talk about in my videos, is what is this bad path that that humans kind of wonder, like, what is the bad path, what is the good path? Is it possible to switch to being on a good path? I think a lot of times in people's lives, they're on this fast track of a bad path, unfortunately, and maybe intuitively they think they are racking up a lot of bad karma, and if they switch to the good path, then all of a sudden they have nothing to do but face themselves, and they're going to see in real time the punishments, because they're going to be on this slower path where they're realizing each each bad thing that happens, they might, I would guess, are wondering, is this a punishment for something I did 4 years ago? I think that I wonder every day if, you know, I like clumsily ran into my desk an hour ago, and I'm just like, those little moments do make me stop and wonder, like, what is out there? Are we really being protected? I know that's very dramatic of me. However, I think it's also very natural and very common to wonder. I think what I wish would happen is that we as a humanity simply talked about karma more and what it must mean, and if karma really exists, like really researching and looking into like what is the cause and effect of karma, what are all the intricacies of karma, and certainly not overgeneralizing it and just saying like, if you have this positive, wonderful mindset, then like you're gonna have this wonderful thing to happen to you. I think that can be quite toxic, and I've talked about that before in videos and definitely in my book. It's kind of interesting because there's this one book that I read and I've looked back on, and it's like the different religions of the world. There's this word that I keep trying to find, and it's like, I think it's so interesting and like important because I just remember the word. It basically meant that sometimes humans get stuck in their own bubble of spirituality and really of privilege. So I think this is definitely happens to people in the United States. People like in these bubbles of spiritual philosophies where it's all kind of based around what is happening in their life. Even now I feel like I'm guilty of kind of like, what do you call it, having that energy, because I was so tempted to say, oh, the United States, like, we're so well off here, and we really are not, and every country seems to have its issues. What I'm really trying to say, and this is so, makes me so nervous to say, is that how can you say that, oh, I'm gonna get good karma from just being a good person, when someone might have something really, really, really just like unspeakable happen in their life. And they probably, I think that it's common and probably a natural feeling, but I'm guessing they feel like, what did I do to deserve this? And I think it's our job as fellow humans to not feed into that and to reassure that person that we don't know the answers either. We don't know fully why it's happening, but we just want to be there to support our fellow humanity. So I think it's really, I was thinking this like about an hour ago, like a couple hours ago, that I think a big key to life is helping each other and helping ourselves not let things get too bitter and not too resentful or bitter. And I feel like, honestly, one of the first steps of that is trying our best to believe in something spiritual that has to be like helping us in some way. Because if we really were just like all atheist and we were all like these little science experiments of sorts, like that, I really believe is going to lead to so much bitterness, and I just refuse to believe that that is a healthy path to be on. And on the flip side, I've seen enough like mini miracles, I like to call them, to understand that there is something very magical and spiritual that exists with us. And so I think that it's almost our duty as a human to look into these different theories and philosophies, and then with that realize that we really do need to support each other. I don't have all the answers, but I'm just kind of positing. That word came up to my mind. Okay, now it sounds like horrible because I messed up the grammar of that, but positing. There's just a lot of things in my book that I posit, and yeah, that is it for now. I was going to quote from this book that if you've been watching my channel, you know that I love, but I don't really have time. I have to get to my next errand, so that will be something hopefully in the near future. I certainly don't want to wait this long again for my next video, so hope everyone is doing good out there, and happy October, and see you soon.